Ano? So, anong meron dito? Ito yung period na parang binubuo. Anong meron dito? So developing of something like that. And then latency 6 to 12 years old. So this is a sexual feelings are dormant. So in short, wala diyan walang emotion na nararamdaman during that stage. So developing of social and communication skills during that time. Social, pagka latency sa social siya nakafocus. Ano? So anong meron dito? Ito yung period na parang binubuo ng bata ang kanyang skill. So in short, wala diyan, kumbaga walang trust versus mistrust, gano'n, walang anything about that, no. It's more on binubuo daw niya yung sa psychosexual na part, no. Hindi pala tayo dun sa may trust versus mistrust kasi that is psychosocial. So this is sexual, so walang develop in relationship or in relation to sexual activities. It's because nakafocus ang bata sa pag-develop ng kanyang mga skills. Okay? Sa genitals naman, this is 12 years old and above. So, genitals, ang kanyang erogenous zones, syempre ang ating genitalia, same as with your phallic, no? So, developing mature sexual and emotional relationship. So, involved na ang sexual relationship sa part ng genitals, no? So, So dito, yung healthy adults relationships if prior stages are resolved, no? Magkakaroon siya ng healthy relationship if yung oral, anal, phallic, and latency stages ay na-resolve yung mga conflict. So if hindi na-resolve ang oral, anal, phallic, latency, so therefore, ito yung tendency na nagkakaroon ng hiwalayan yung family o yung mag-asawa, nagiging broken family and everything. Kaya nga 'di ba pag during sa mga marital na mga abuse, laging merong psychologist kasi chine-check niya rito if kay Sigmund Freud na psychosexual theory, if meron bang fixation. Meron bang kaya pala hindi maka-move on kasi merong hindi na nakalampas na stage. Kaya right now nagmamanifest siya, kaya nagkakaroon ng problem. Okay, kaya kung makita nyo dyan sa picture, yan yung mga example ng kanyang stages ng psychosexual theory. So meaning, kailangan daw po maalpasan yung bawat stages na to o malampasan. If hindi nila malampasan, nagkakaroon ng fixation. So meaning yung attitude nila na hindi na correct during the oral stage, madadala nila hanggang sila ay tumanda, which is para masatisfy yung bibig, 'di ba? Nagsisigarilyo. Sa anal, pag hindi naturuan ng toilet training, messy sila, madumi sila sa paligid. Sa phallic naman is ano mangyayari? If hindi nila na-win si mother o hindi nila na-win si father, o 'di ba nagkakaroon ng problem sa kanilang pakikipagkapwa, 'di ba? And then sa latency naman, 'di ba? It's skill development, no? Wala doon sexual na na activity. And then sa genitals, ito na may sexual activity, immature na po ang relationship na binubuo during that time. Okay? So next, our next theory will be si B.F. Skinner and John Watson, the behaviorism theory. Okay, so paano ang behaviorism theory? It focus on observable behaviors rather than internal thoughts and feelings. So, nakafocus siya sa observable behaviors. So, anong sinasabi niya dyan? Na, okay, so sabi ni John Watson, no? So, the behavior can be predicted and controlled through learning. And behavior is shaped and maintained by its consequences. Okay? So, Okay. So, correction tayo, no? Yung kay Gene Watson, according sa kanya, yung behavior can be predicted and controlled through learning. Okay, so and learning occurs by associating neutral stimulus with a naturally occurring one. Ano? Kay B.F. Skinner, ang sinasabi niya, behavior is shaped and maintained by its consequences. Ano? So, to further, i-discuss natin ang stimulus, reinforcement, and your punishment, no? So, sinasabi po dyan, kay B.F. Skinner, no, ang positive reinforcement, ano, positive reinforcement, you add a reward. Pagka naman negative is you remove something. Remove. Pero silang pareho, ano ang ending nila? You increase the behavior. Ano? In short, may maganda siyang effect. It's either positive or negative reinforcement. Like for example, madalas kang late pumasok. So paano positive reinforcement? Pagka maaga kang pumasok, 'di ba? Bibigyan kita ng additional na meal sa iyong pagpasok. So that is positive. So anong gagawin ng tao? Papasok siya ng maaga. Okay? Paano naman ang negative reinforcement? For example, ah, pagka hindi ka maagang pumasok, babawasan ko ng doble ang sweldo mo. O, di ba? Anong gagawin ng tao? Papasok pa rin siya ng maaga. So that is the positive and the negative reinforcement. Paano naman ang punishment? Ang punishment is what? You add and remove something to decrease the behavior. Ano? Ito to decrease the behavior, ito to increase the behavior. Okay? So kuha po ba? That is the reinforcement and then the punishment. Okay? So, pansinin po ninyo yung example natin dyan. Ito yung madalas na ginagawa nyo sa mga pedya ward, di ba? Iinom ka o tutusukin kita ng karayom. Okay? Di ba? Ganyan yung mga ginagawa ninyo. Di ba? So, syempre, anong gagawin ng bata? Iinom. Di ba? So, or, ang ingay-ingay ng bata, ayaw tumahimik. Anong gagawin mo? Kuhanin mo yung laruan niya para siya tumahimik. That is punishment. Di ba? Pero pag reinforcement, di ba, anong gagawin mo? Para umingkrease ang kanyang behavior o gumanda ang kanyang behavior, is either bibigyan mo siya, 'di ba, para siya ay ma-focus ang attention niya doon, 'di ba? Or babawasan mo yung hawak niya at ilagay mo sa ibang bagay para doon siya ma-focus. 'Di ba? So that is reinforcement. So ang stimulus yun yung ginagamit mo na para siya ay ma-rewardan o ma-remove or ma-punish siya. Okay? So, next, our topic is kay Lawrence Kohlberg, the moral development theory. So, progression from a focus on self-interest to a broader concern for universal ethical principles. So, this is an expanded Piaget's work and proposed a theory focused on how people develop moral reasonings. So, the ability to distinguish right from wrong. So, this is focused on rules sa moral development ni Kohlberg. Okay? So, meron siyang levels which is your pre-conventional, conventional, and your post-conventional. So, pag sinabing level 1, that is your pre-conventional, that is self-interest. Okay, interest. Okay, lahat daw ng tao nag-umpisa sa pre-conventional self-interest lang. So, ang focus niya is obedience and punishment and individualism and exchange. So anong nakalagay dyan sa iyong obedience and punishment, that is right and wrong, are based on avoiding the punishment. And then authority is absolute. Okay? And then stage 2, the individualism and your exchange. So right is what meets individual needs. Fairness is seen as you help me I help you. In short, kailangan equal. Ano? So, pag tinulungan mo ako, tutulungan kita. Pag di mo ako tinulungan, di kita tutulungan. Okay? Ganun daw po ang pre-conventional. Di ba ganun yung mga bata? Di ba? Anong ginagawa nila? Di mo ako binigyan, di kita bibigyan. Di ba? Ganun siya, no? So, next, post-conventional. Ano naman ang post-conventional? So, that is social norms. Okay? With stages involving the good interpersonal relationship and maintaining social order. So, a good interpersonal relationship behavior is moral if it pleases others and maintains relationship. While maintaining social order, moral decisions based on law and order. So, respecting authority and rules. So, dito sa may part ng iyong obedience and punishment, ang authority is absolute. Ano? Wala nang what ifs, what ifs. 'Di ba? They just follow. 'Di ba ganun yung mga bata? 'Di ba? Sa pre-conventional ang ginagawang bata. I said no, no, do not move. Kaya di ba ibang bata parang nagmumukmuk na sa gilid, hindi na kayo kinakausap. 'Di ba? Kasi ang thinking nila wala nang ibang choice kundi sundin kayo. 'Di ba? Tayo, 'di ba? Then next, post-conventional. So this is ethical principles. Ano? Ethical principles. So meron siyang two stages, the social contract and individual rights and the universal ethical principles. So paano ba ang social contract and individual rights? So laws are important but can be changed by ay for the greater good. So ganun na daw ang thinking natin na ay so oo nga tama, 'di ba? However, pwede naman nating i-improve, 'di ba? So hindi na applicable ngayon 'yan, kailangan i-change na natin, 'di ba? Kasi nagkakaroon na tayo ng logical thinking. And then universal ethical principles, so guided by conscience and abstract moral principles like the justice and human rights. No, so it is more than the law, 'di ba? Sabi ko nga, 'di ba, before na ay actually baka hindi sa inyo yun or sa iba kong students na sinasabi ko na when yung law or the legality ay hindi na siya masagot yung current situation, then the ethics will play. 'Di ba? So, kumbaga, this is the set of standards, however, ethically unacceptable na siya. Okay? So, ayun, ganun po ang moral development theory. Okay, ni Lawrence Kohlberg. Okay, so in short, yung dating absolute yung authority na wala nang ibang choice, 'di ba? That is the pre-conventional. And then pag conventional, siya ay merong law, susunod pa rin kasi ito yung acceptable, ito yung dapat sa society, 'di ba? To maintain the relationship. Pag post-conventional naman, ito na yung ay kailangan na i-change yung law kasi hindi na siya applicable for today. Just like 'di ba, pansinin niyo yung mga matatanda, iba na thinking nila, dapat ganito ang ginagawa diyan, hindi ganyan, ganon, ganon. Pero nung bata sila, they follow the rules. They follow that rules, 'di ba? But right now, they want to change it, no? Kasi that is part of the moral development theory ng mga tao. Okay? So next, the Carol Gilligan, The Ethics of Care. Okay? So moral development involves relationships, empathy, compassion, and care. So Carol Gilligan developed the ethics of care theory as a response to Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of moral development, which she argued was male-centered and did not adequately represent women's moral reasoning. So ang moral development daw is not just about justice and rules, which is yun yung ni-emphasize ni Kohlberg, di ba? But also about relationships, empathy, compassion, and care. Di ba? Sabi nga nila, mas maalaga daw ang mga babae. But nowadays, mas na-develop na yung mga lalaki pa lang mas may care daw. But anyway, again, meron tayong different environment that affects our action, our decisions, di ba? So, merong stages ang ethics of care ni Carol Gilligan. So, which is your orientation to individual survival, goodness as self-care practice, and then morality of non-violence and responsibility. So ano ibig sabihin yan? Orientation to individual survival, focus is on self. Ano? Individual nga eh, di ba? Decisions are made to survive or meet personal needs. Okay? So, nag-decide ako kasi may pangangailangan ako. Ito yung decision ko kasi ako. Okay? And then goodness as self-sacrifice. The individual prioritizes others' needs over their own. No, so often sacrificing themselves to be seen as good. Ito naman, others na siya. Okay? Ang stages, 'di ba? Una, sarili niya, sumunod nagkaroon na siya ng care to others. And then morality of non-violence, then responsibility, a balance between caring sa self and sa others. So in short, yung una, nag-care sa self, yung pangalawa, others siya nag-focus. Sa morality of non-violence, balance na, nagki-care na sa self, nagki-care na to others. So more maturity involves mutual respect and care. So, if nurse is deciding whether to follow a hospital policy, so this is an example, no, that conflicts with the patient's emotional well-being, 'di ba? So, yung Gilligan's theory encourages the nurse to prioritize empathy and relationship. Diba? So, in short daw po, pagka daw po mayroong protocol of policies na against dun sa nararamdaman ng pasyente, ang i-prioritize mo daw is yung emotion na nararamdaman ng patient. Ano, yung kanyang feelings. No, sometimes, this is the standard. However, ito yung nararamdaman ng patient which is hindi applicable sa standards. Okay? So, next, si John Bowlby na attachment theory. So it explains how the emotional bonds form between infants and caregivers shape personality, behavior, and relationships throughout life. So early emotional attachment to caregivers is essential for healthy psychological and social development. So disruptions in attachment can lead to emotional and behavioral issues later in life. Kaya nga po, di ba, ito yung pag iniiwan yung anak. Kung kanino siya naiwan, doon siya mas attach. Di ba? Kaya nga siya attachment theory. Di ba? Minsan, di ba yung mga nag-abroad na magulang, minsan pag di nila nakakausap, nakakalimutan na nila na may parents sila abroad. Di ba? So, ito yung mga different styles ng ating attachment theory. So, meron daw tayo tinatawag na secure attachment. So, yung child daw feels safe and comforted. So, may trust siya ng caregiver niya babalik. Ano, in short, parang sa trust versus mistrust, alam ko na pag kumuha lang ng dede si mama, babalik din siya. Okay, and then next is the secure avoidant. Ano, so the child avoids closeness, show little emotion when caregiver leaves or returns. No, so parang wala siyang attachment, kumbaga parang inalagaan mo siya pag umalis ka, wala lang, parang konting iyak lang o konting ay saan siya pupunta, alis na. Diba? And then insecure, ambivalent resistance. So child is clingy and anxious, upset when caregiver leaves and not easily comforted. Ano, so in short, pag umalis, nagwawala. Ano, or parang hindi mo siya makausap. Ito yung batang laging nakayuko pag hindi nakasama yung nag-aalaga sa kanya. And then disorganized attachment. So child shows confused or fearful behavior often linked to trauma or neglect. Ano? So ito yung makita niyo yung mga bata no na parang kwan na lang siya takot na takot pag yung paghahawakan niyo siya, yung parang meron siyang sinasaktan siya sa bahay. So parang pag naiwan siya, feeling niya pag may lalapit sa kanya, sasaktan din siya. Okay, so that is the disorganized attachment, no? So, i-correlate natin siya, no? So, sabi rito, in a pediatric ward, no, a child cries and resists care unless the mother is present. So, pati ito, during sa pagkikare natin sa patient, i-observe po natin, no? Like, for example, mas sumusunod yung batang umiinom ng gamot if andyan yung kanyang nanay at tatay or andyan yung kanyang caregiver. So, a nurse using Bowlby's theory recognizes this as secure attachment behavior and may encourage the caregiver to stay during the procedures to provide comfort. Ano? Kasi mas susunod yung bata if andun yung kanyang caregiver. Okay, so ganun lang po ang ating developmental milestone theory. There are other developmental milestone theory, but on the previous na nirelease na TOS ng board exam, ito yung sum of na mapofocus sa board examination, no? So, next, here are the other related healthcare theories to nursing practice. So, number one is the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So, human needs are prioritized in levels. No, prioritize. So, meaning may dapat mauna. Okay? So, it guides the prioritization of nursing care by addressing basic need first, which is the physiologic needs, which includes your air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. So once daw nag-approach tayo ng patient or ng during situation na mayroong problem, we should focus on the Abraham Maslow, 'di ba? So like yung psychiatric patient ninyo, 'di ba? Unahin mo muna ang physiologic needs niya. Kumakain ba yung psych patient mo, umiinom ba? 'Di ba? Nagpapalit ba ng damit, nakakatulog ba yan or not? 'Di ba? Bago ang kanyang safety and security or ang kanyang love and belongingness, 'di ba? Next, another theory is yung kay Ludwig von Bertalanffy, so the general systems theory. So a person is an open system interacting with environment. Systems have the input, output, and then the feedback. Okay, so it supports holistic and family-centered care by considering all parts of the patient's environment, no? Kasi nga open system daw yung person, so meaning kahit anong na makasalamuhan niya, maka-interact niya is may direct effect kay patient, no? And then pwede siyang mag-react because of that environment. So, ano example niyan? So, a nurse involves both the patient and family in discharge planning to ensure continuity of care. Kasi, di ba, sometimes, uh, yung patient is hindi na ganong okay yung mind niya, 'di ba? Or kumbaga parang disorganized pa yung mind niya kasi kagagaling niya sa sakit. So pagka manggagamutan siya sa bahay, you need to involve yung nasa house niya para yung paggaling niya is hindi lang sa sarili niya but it involves other na nasa environment niya kasi makaka-affect yun sa health ng patient. Okay? And then, next, the Becker and Rosenstock health belief model. So behavior is influenced by a perceived susceptibility, severity, benefits, and barriers. Ano? So it is useful in designing the health education and preventive interventions. Ano example niya na paggamit ng health belief model? A nurse educates a hesitant patient about the risk of not getting flu vaccine and addresses concern to encourage uptake. So meaning daw po, ang behavior daw ng isang tao ay naiimpluwensyahan ng kanyang perception regarding sa susceptibility nung gagawin sa kanya, severity nung gagawin sa kanya, benefits ng gagawin sa kanya, and barriers inong gagawin mo sa kanya. Ano? So, with that, makikita mo, magkakaroon siya ng cues to action. So, meaning, nakita mo na, ay, hindi pala siya, uh, iba pala ang thinking niya sa benepisyo o iba pala ang thinking niya sa severity na mangyayari if siya ay ito yung gagawin sa kanyang procedure. So, doon tayo papasok bilang mga nurses, yung action natin para ma-change ang behavior niya. 'Di ba? So, ganun po ang health belief model kung ano yung perception ng tao sa gagawin sa kanya sa health niya. Okay? So, doon nakabase kung anong interaction na gagawin ni nurse because makikita niya na iba pala perception niya sa barrier, iba pala yung perception niya sa benepisyo. So, I need to walk doon sa part na yon, no? Next, the Lazarus and Folkman stress and coping theory. So, stress arises from how a person appraises a situation. So, coping is either a problem or emotion focus. Okay? So, ang pag-cope daw is either pwedeng problem focus or emotion focus. Okay? So, gusto nating masolve yung problem or depende sa emotion na nararamdaman ng patient. No? So, nurses assess stress and teach adaptive coping skills. So, kailangan daw alamin natin ano ba yung ah, stress sa pasyente? Is it because of the problem itself na nakikita niya or yung nararamdaman niya? Okay? And then doon tayo mag-i-intervene. Like for example, a nurse supports a newly diagnosed cancer patient by providing counseling and relaxation technique. Okay? So from the stress, then magde-develop tayo ng coping mechanism. Next, the Isaac Ashgen theory of planned behavior. So behavior is predicted by intention, influenced by ano, ang sabi diyan, yung behavior daw natin is predicted by the intention, influenced by. So meaning, because of these factors, naiimpluwensyahan ang intention. And then, naiimpluwensyahan ang behavior. So, use in behavior change strategies like for example, yung lifestyle modification. Ano ba ang attitude ng patient ko towards this management? Ano ba ang kanyang norm regarding this? Ano ba ang kanyang perceived behavior regarding this procedure? Ano bang gagawin? Something like that. No? With, for example, this is mayroong CBG, monitoring, like that. So, may perceived change. 'Di ba? So ano ba ang mangyayari? Ano ba intention ng pasyente? Gusto ba niyang matuto or ayaw niyang matuto? Then magkakaroon ng ah, behavior change. Ano? So anong example niyan? A nurse helps a hypertensive patient plan dietary changes by discussing attitudes, social influences, and then the barriers. Ano? So pag na-discussan na yan, ano bang intention or ano ba ang goal? 'Di ba? Then magkakaroon na siya ng change behavior. Okay, so hindi natin po pwedeng ipilit, no? For example, mataas yung BP, kailangan pababain yung BP, no? Alam mong matakot siya sa fats, matakot siya sa maaalat. So hindi mo po pwede agad na i-change yung behavior. Kailangan mong tignan yung attitude, yung norms, and yung perceived behavior niya. And later, gusto ba kasi pababain ng pasyente BP niya? Baka siya mismo ayaw niya. 'Di ba? Kaya ayaw niya i-correct. 'Di ba? So, ganun po yung kay Isaac Ashgen, the theory of planned behavior. Okay? So, and to summarize or to give or to conclude the TFN, no? Here are the importance of the theories in nursing practice, no? So, in theory of nursing practice, no, it guides the nursing practice. Ano? So, structured and consistent care. Ano? So, it provide a framework for a decision making and care delivery system, no? Number two, it enhances ano, professionalism. So it establishes nursing as a discipline, not just a set of tasks. Okay, now we are not just parang nabuong tigahugas lang ng puwet, but we have a ano no, a discipline na sinusunod. And then supports education and learning. Okay, so it provides foundation for teaching. It helps students understand core principles and nursing roles. Okay, and then it promotes research, 'di ba? Or guides research and evidence-based practice. So it generates evidence and innovation. It provides testable concepts that can be studied and validated. Okay? And then it improves patient care, 'di ba? Or patient care outcomes. So it encourages individualized holistic care which promotes individualized and holistic and culturally sensitive care. Okay? Just like yung mga theories ninyo with your regarding with your cultures and moralities, 'di ba? And then encourages critical thinking and reflection which fosters, 'di ba? Or promotes analytical skills and growth which challenge nurses to analyze and reflect on their practice. 'Di ba? So, yan po yung mga benefits or importance ng theories in nursing practice. So, it will serve as a framework, a foundation, just like your thesis, di ba? Your theoretical framework. So, siya yung mag-guide sa iyo to have a new concept or new ideas in nursing practice. Okay? So, I hope na naintindihan ninyo ang ating TFN So, those are some of the theories ng pwede natin gamitin sa ating nursing practice. And we are hoping na yung mga yan yung mga lalabas sa board exams, no? If you want to study it more, pwede naman, no? But that is the gist of the theoretical foundation of nursing practice. Okay? Thank you for attending our class.